Come on in. What are we hunting tonight? Why don't you just decloak and have a seat right over there? That's right, right over there. Why? Well, because this is Predator and Prey. Which are you? I'm Chris Hansen.
Yes, welcome back. Welcome back, Yautja, HOTU Clan members. You are listening to Predator and Prey, the Yautja podcast. A couple of hosts here to help you kind of settle in. First off, Sparky Small Knife. Sparky, welcome back.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's always good to be here.
It's always good to chat Yautja with you, Sparky. Apologies also to, I was about to say our fallen comrades, but they're not really fallen. On the hunt. They're on the
Yes,
hunt.
that's right.
Yes, Justin, the OWLF, and of course Rasucha, aka Peter Keys, somewhere in a slaughterhouse, somewhere doing some sort of nasty things to.
Oh, I know. We're going to be without all those great impersonations.
I know. I can't even do any of it. Won't even attempt any of that. But I'm your other host as well, P. Ray, and yes, we're back for another show. Sparky, I was really pumped up, in the lead up to this recording. I was going to drop a quiz on you, just like that, but I don't want to like assault you with so I might save that there. I had this idea, Sparky, of just dropping in like random finish the quote quizzes, just to kind of.
Oh yeah, like a fun little sort of pop quiz kind of thing.
Exactly, like from the Predator movies, of course, from the Predator movies, easy to quote Predator, Predator 2. Probably a little bit harder to quote AVP and Requiem, Sparky, unless you've got some juicy quotes there, but I don't know.
The one of the quotes from AVP that always comes to mind. I don't know if this is what he says exactly, but I'll never forget. My experts tell me it's a pyramid, as you see the hologram map of what is clearly a pyramid. It's like, oh yeah, bro.
Oh, that's awesome. I've got to check that out. Someone pay that scientist top dollar. That's hardcore research. But we are doing research of a kind, Sparky, as well. I love these segues, I love the smooth transitions. And so Sparky and I should say Small Knife, you are looking at Fresh Wounds, Predator versus Black Panther, issue 2.
That's right.
So this came out not that long ago, Sparky. We're kind of like playing catch up a little bit. Before any of that, though, a little bit of Predator chat. That sounds very dodgy as I say it. But what's been happening in your neck of the woods, apart from loads of work?
Yeah, just apart from work, let's see. Been going to the gym a lot more, which is great.
Nice. Well, you have to in case predators attack, right?
Yeah, it's so funny. I was talking with some online friends of mine. This was a long while ago, but I told them, like, unironically, I think to myself, like, man, how am I going to keep up with the predators and fighting xenomorphs if I can't run? Like, yeah, I don't have any muscle. So yeah, definitely. And I mean, come on, the original Predator movie, Arnold, like, what's more inspiring than the legend, right?
Kind of, he set the bar, didn't he? So.
Yeah, too high. I'll never get there, but I could have fun kind of trying,
Yeah.
trying a little bit here and there.
Can you
Um,
can you can you do chin ups? Are you a chin up person?
no, not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Exactly.
yet.
Not yet.
Um, but yeah, I've just been like working, kind of keeping my nose to the grindstone, that sort of thing.
Nice.
Um, I'm very excited about like upcoming potential predator stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
know the highly anticipated next like post prey predator movie.
Oh,
I don't want to say prey
Badlands.
2, but
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
um yeah, I'm excited for
yeah.
stuff going forward. So, what about you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, nice. Oh well, yeah. Again, like just work as well. Oh God, listeners, this is very boring. Just say that work is
You know,
no. Yeah, no. Other than that, Eve's parents are over from Germany,
oh,
um, so there's always fun to have them around. Maybe
yeah.
squeeze in a Predator viewing with them. Not that they're fans. I think they fall asleep. But yeah, no, that's good. Just doing the fan stuff. Yeah, work is work. Predator stuff. Yeah, I haven't come across too much Predator stuff. I really should do some more rewatches. I've been watching. Actually, I watched over and over again. It was on Facebook. I was in one of the Aliens and Predator groups. Someone posted the fight scene between Wolf and the Pred Alien. So. Uh,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so watch that over and Russell, you can see it. Rasucha, you can see it. I saw it. I don't know if they enhanced the lighting, but yeah, it's visible. So yeah, that was that was pretty fun. Um, so also listeners as well. I mean, I guess Sparky. I don't know any. I'm really bad at news. I usually rely on Russell and
Yeah, he's so
Justin.
good about that sort of thing. Man, we are just
Mm.
aimless. It
Oh, we're
shows the
aimless.
importance of teammates,
That's it.
you know?
Um, but is there anything anything that you came across your travails, predator wise?
Not necessarily, except
No.
that speaking of what we're about to discuss today,
Mhm.
I always try to keep my finger on the pulse of what our subscribers are into and like
Mhm.
walk-ins at the comic book shop I work at. A
Yes.
lot of people have been coming in asking for Predator versus Black Panther.
All
Like
right.
quite yeah,
Yes.
quite a bit. So I haven't been looking into what like sales numbers are.
Mhm.
That kind of stuff is getting harder and harder to find when it comes to comics.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
I feel like
imagine.
yeah, I feel like pre-pandemic, for some reason, it used to be easier to kind of see what the numbers were,
Yeah.
overall sales and that sort of thing, but it's a bit harder to find online now. So I kind of just have to see like what are people asking for when they come into the shop,
Mhm.
and a lot of people have been asking for Predator versus Black Panther, which is really exciting. It's doing pretty
Fantastic.
well. Yeah.
Very reassuring as well. Oh, that's cool. I know this is just our like not mud ball because that's the whole world. This is just our neck of the woods, but I know in Australia, one of the bigger comic book shops up in Queensland, in Brisbane, I just saw they sold out of
Oh yeah,
Predator Black
that's
Panther. So
great.
it is getting a lot of attention. I'm very keen. I'm very curious to know your thoughts. We will get to it on this issue.
Hmm.
I found it slightly different, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that hopefully we'll get more, and as Russell I think mentioned, it's going to culminate in potentially like an AVP comic book series from Marvel, so that will be good. I still haven't read, as a slight sidebar, Sparky, I still haven't read Aliens versus Avengers. Had you read that?
No, actually, I
No.
haven't. I have to admit, like, I love, obviously, I love Predator. That's why I'm
Mm.
here. I also love AVP, but
Mm.
I don't usually check out all of any of like the solo alien stuff.
Okay.
It's just not something that I'm like super into. Except I've seen the first movie a few times, really liked it.
Yes.
And I mean, Aliens is a classic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Declan Shelby did. Did you catch the Declan Shelby one? The
Oh, yeah,
alien.
see, that is actually one of that's one of the alien stories that I have read, actually,
Yes. Yeah.
because, Declan Shalvey was on it,
Yeah.
so,
That's pretty
like,
good.
I will yeah, I liked it a lot. I will check that kinda stuff out from time to time, but I've been meaning to get around to reading, the Avengers Aliens book.
Yeah.
We sold out of that one too at the shop.
Yes.
People were really, really into it, so I should check it
Well,
out.
you've got Avengers, and let's be modest. Aliens are kind of the big brother, I think, to
Oh, yeah, for
Predator.
sure. Mhm.
Yeah, so no surprises there that I think that would have kind of sold out or gone into second printing. But we do have this. Oh, before we get into it, one final thing: trophy walls. Any purchases, Sparky, that you'd like to make mention?
Oh, I do have the second hardcover omnibus. I don't know if
Yes.
I mentioned that before or not. Probably.
Oh, you
I
did. Yeah, you urged me to get
yeah.
it. You mentioned it, and then I ran out and got it because
Oh, that's great.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
honestly, I haven't made any big purchases
Hmm.
lately.
Yep.
The holidays are coming up, so I'm sure
Yeah.
there's gonna be plenty of fun stuff to buy in the future. But
Let it flow. It will flow towards the end of the year, I'm sure, when we all get that urge to spend. So
that's
yeah.
right. What about yourself? Anything fun?
Yeah. Purchases. Predator wise, no. Um, no.
Yeah, there's
I've
not
got
a
X-Men. I got an Epic collection. X-Men.
Oh, nice.
The
Okay.
Brood. The Brood saga. That's
Oh, yeah,
kind of
that's kinda
yeah,
alien adjacent. I
kind of
always thought that they were like Marvel's
yeah.
attempt at like, we want
Oh,
the xenomorph, but we can't have it, so
oh, exactly.
let's make the
It's an
brood.
exact. It is a blatant, yeah,
Yeah.
trying to rip off.
No, that's always
So
some
that
good stuff though.
yeah, good. It's like a nice era, so I'm looking forward to reading that. But I am very much looking forward to reading more Predator versus Black Panther, Sparky, which is what we're about to do now.
Yes, we're here.
Let's get into it. I'll just play the little transition. Yeah, we're back after Billy has been scoped out there by the Predator. Yes, Sparky, as I mentioned, Predator versus Black Panther. Have you got a copy with you?
I
Or
don't have my copy
that's okay.
with me. It's
No,
still
that's
at the
okay.
shop, but it's
Yeah,
it's
no
in
worries.
here. It's all
It's in there.
in the
That's
noggin.
where it's meant to be. Yes, I have a copy. I think I've yet to pick it up. I do have a digital copy, which I'm referring to now. So I'll just skip to the credits first off. So Predator versus Black Panther. This is part 2, and we have Benjamin Percy as writer. Now we've got a few artists here, Sparky. We've got Sean Damien Hill, whom I've heard of, with Jonas Trinidad on inks, and Lee Ferguson. And we have color artist Eric Arsenyeger, letterer VC's Travis Lanham. Now, the cover is by Ken Lashley and Juan Fernandez. We have variant covers from Dolly Raza, and Rose Besh. They're very cool. And editor Sarah Brunstad as well. So yeah, issue 2. I don't know, Sparky. Should we open up with maybe just a really quick or short summary about what happened here? Would you be able to?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So essentially, from what I remember, it starts off with like the Dora Milaje. They're
Hmm.
like walking through like the jungle. It looks like a sort of swampy area.
Hmm.
Um, it's really it's it's like narrated from an observant kind of perspective where it's talking about what each party is like thinking and feeling, and it really goes into sorry, you said quick. I'm already
No,
jumping into
that's
all the
okay.
details.
That's all right.
But it's great because it really sets up like everyone's rattled
Mm-hmm.
from this surprise attack that Wakanda just experienced. Um T'Challa really got his dome rocked with like those shots to
Mhm.
the head. We see a classic sort of predator style attack where
Mhm.
one of the Dora Milaje gets sort of strung up and whisked up into the canopy, but they're so quick. Like Okoye is so attuned to everything around her. Like
Mhm.
every little movement in the jungle, it's like they have this great home turf advantage, and
Yes.
she is very quick to like tell them what to do. Um, so a lot of it seems like quite a few of them maybe are able to like make their escape from this attack.
Mhm.
Um, and essentially, it looks like everyone's just trying to pick up what pieces they can. You have T'Challa's sister Shuri and this like elder that I'm not super
Yes.
familiar with him, but he's
No.
like a seer of some kind.
Yes. What's his?
They
Let me
they
just pick
crawl
his.
out of the ship. Um,
Yeah,
she calls
Margie
him.
Keener. Margie
Yeah,
Keener.
that's right.
Omega. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
and um, essentially, it shows them fighting back against the Yautja
Mhm.
in a pretty like substantive ways. Like they're not pushovers, which is really fun to see. I
Yes.
think one thing that really jumped out to me right away was how it shows the net, right? And we've seen that so many
Yeah.
times. It's always so satisfying because we know what's coming.
Yeah.
Like this thing's gonna dice you up.
Mhm.
But T'Challa is able to save one of the uh, like Wakandan warriors that's trapped in it. Really
Mhm.
easily, he like slices through it and rescues her. And it makes a
Yeah.
point to show that like vibranium is better. And
Yes.
it's
Superior.
really satisfying. Yeah, it's satisfying to
Yeah.
see that it's like, I don't know, it's not the same sort of story where you
Mm.
have the outgunned humans that are
Yes.
like helpless in the predator's clutches with its like the Yautja technology.
Mhm.
It's cool to see them fighting back. And then surprisingly, the issue actually ends more with the predator's perspective. It's strange. I want to call him our like protagonist in a way.
Yeah,
But like
I think
that,
so. Yeah.
yeah, the younger brother who's trying
Mhm.
to like get his honor back. It looks like he finds something of a vibranium motherlode, which
Mm.
is very exciting for him.
Yes, and he's getting like the visions of grandeur and everything about, I can actually, you know, palm off my dad and my brother. I can have a throne and everything. He gets
Yeah, he goes
really.
from like he has a
Yeah.
spear. He gets a spear
Yeah.
first and is all
Yes.
excited about that. And then they find like all this vibranium and he's like, "Oh, like not just a spear, but like all sorts of things." Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's talking about I think he mentions is it like using oh yeah, he imagined armor, weapons and warships.
Yes, warships. Imagine. I mean, like Wakanda have their ships as well, which I'm assuming are kind of dressed in vibranium as well. So yeah, right on the money there, and just going for it. And that's a very interesting point to end on, like just finding that mine because yeah, uh, he's basically achieved, I guess, what he wanted. Right. The idea was to claim like vibranium weaponry, but he's gone to the source and he's found an actual mine where he can, make whatever he wants. So yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting way to kind of end it. I thought overall, Sparky, overall, what did you make of this issue?
Overall, I gotta say,
And
first off,
so
oh, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry, first, fantastic summary, by the way. I think that was really
Oh,
good. So
thank you.
spoiler filled, and yeah, but that was well done from Sparky. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I probably should say. I mean, I feel like if you're listening
yeah,
to a podcast about an issue, like
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
come on. Um, but yeah, next time I'll remember spoilers.
No.
Um, but overall, I have to say first off that like just to get it out of the way, the artwork was very different
Hmm.
from the first issue. And with that transition in the first issue from like the first artist to the second, it was a bit jarring. It was
Hmm.
very noticeable.
Yeah.
And when I opened up this next issue too, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, so this is that artist again. Or Yeah, I think it's the same team they left off with in the first issue, right? I'd have to go back and check.
Uh-huh.
At first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be super thrilled with how this looks, but it honestly, I really warmed up to it. And I
Mm,
think I got so engrossed in the story that somehow what I thought was going to be like something that would bug me about the issue
mhm.
ended up not really being a problem for me at all.
Okay.
And I think the style itself, it lends itself pretty well to the story. I think, and again, like artists, they're working against deadlines. I
Exactly.
don't know the story of like why the art changed. I don't have the
Mhm.
background details. The fact that an artist was able to get all this out um, in such a timely manner, I'm assuming, I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And the way things are framed, I think it works really well for the story. So yeah, I went in at first thinking like, oh man, the art changed. I don't know if I'm going to like this. And
Mm.
then I started reading, and before I knew it, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just so engrossed in the story.
Yeah. No, that look, I think you've hit it right on the crusty mandibled head. I think that first point that you mentioned, Sparky, was exactly like my main point as well. So uh, slight differences, but yes, um, going in, I think it's expectations, right? We got that first issue,
Yeah.
and it was just a plethora of like really hyper detailed like artwork. It was just singing off the page, and then kind of expecting that, I guess, in the second one, and taking nothing away from Sean Damian Hill as well. But it is a different style, so it
Mhm.
was jarring, exactly as you said, and I think that was the biggest hurdle I had to come across, had to get over when reading this, and I found I was like you, but more retrospectively. I think while I was reading this, I was kind of like, oh man, like,
Mhm.
where's the art from issue one? Like, this is, but retrospectively, I'm thinking, and if you had not read issue one or seen the art there, like this art is pretty good, right? It's only the fact that it's following the other artwork, which gives you those expectations. Like for me, this looks like a Dark Horse Presents or a Marvel Comics
Yeah.
Presents sort of art, sort of story. That kind of, and I don't know what that means art wise. I'm not kind of insinuating anything, but it's just that it's pretty solid art. It's just slightly different. And yeah, I think the
Yeah.
biggest, yeah,
I think I know what you mean. It's funny you say like Marvel Presents. And I
yes.
don't really know what that means exactly either, but I get it,
Yeah.
like we both
Yeah.
know what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So it has that kind of vibe, and retrospectively now, like looking at again after reading it fully, it's like, okay, this is not too bad. And you're right, the story was engrossing enough because we got those 3 points. Dora Milaje, we got T'Challa, and we have Shuri with Maji Kinye, the guy, and of course the protagonist, which I do think the Predator is a protagonist because these events are rolling off his backstory kind of thing, and it's
Right,
kind of like
yeah.
how T'Challa and the Wakandans are reacting to this, which he instigated. So yeah, I definitely see him as a protector. So I hope he survives. Let's just fingers crossed
I
there.
don't know, the track record for these things, don't get your hopes up, right?
Yeah.
We'll
Um,
see, we'll see.
yeah, yeah, you're right. But I will say though about the art though, one of the things I was slightly, I guess, disappointed at that first Predator, if you recall, Sparky. I think the detail on the Predator's body and torso, I thought it was like someone dressed up as a Predator. I thought it was like a foil or something. Like it wasn't an actual Predator. So the one that the Dora Milaje killed at
Oh,
first,
yeah. Let me
it looks very
see.
humanoid. Apart from apart from the green blood coming out of it, um,
Right.
it looks very
Oh,
human.
yeah, I see what you mean. I feel like in more
Yeah.
recent iterations of the Predator, we've seen a lot more, like, alien musculature. I think
Yeah.
Prey was really great for that. That suit that they
Yes.
made with like the
Yeah. Oh.
20 abs
Yeah. Yeah.
and like 4 calves on each leg or whatever was going on. Like that was really cool to see. This I feel
Yeah.
like again all I can think of is like the artists just kind of frantically doing their best
Yeah. Yeah.
to meet this
The,
deadline. But yeah, it does
true.
kind of like I can see there's a simplicity in
Yes.
the line work and inking that
Yep.
doesn't give us enough to differentiate that like form from
Yeah.
like non-human, you know?
Yeah, I mean, apart from the physiology, as in like the musculature, as you're saying, like to me, I always kind of liken it the predator's skin to kind of being like the gremlins, like the ones that you feed after midnight.
Yeah.
That kind of like little knobbly,
Yeah.
spiky, kind of
Yeah, they
granular
got like
kind
the
of skin.
quills and stuff,
Yeah,
kind
the
of
quill.
bristly.
Yeah, so yeah, this is too. I mean, for me, like it seems too clean a predator body as opposed to the ones we've seen in Predator, the first Predator, and all the subsequent ones up to Prey, as you say. But the art is good. It's I like the use of the layouts. There's a lot of circular panels, Sparky, that
Mhm.
is very different. I mean, I guess it's very alien, and it was just a nice little touch. It wasn't what I was expecting. Very playful layout style on some of the pages, um, and then others are a little more conventional. But yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, I enjoyed the story. Black Panther really hasn't got that much of a role here so far. I mean, there's a little bit of a tussle and a fight here, but we've got a bigger cast, right? So we've got Okoye took the first third, I guess, of the issue thereabouts.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I do like the use of and like this whole thing about nature and like the alligator getting the
Oh,
predator.
yeah, that's right, that
Mm.
big, like, crocodile or whatever it
A
was.
crocodile. Yeah. Yeah.
It
I
really
mean, yeah.
we've seen the predator fight alligators and stuff in the other books and things.
Hmm.
I can distinctly remember at least one fight
Yes.
in one of the books between a predator and an alligator. It was very brutal.
Hmm.
And I think that kind of like I would agree that so far in terms of being able to do things or having things to do really in the story, uh
Hmm.
the Black Panther, T'Challa himself, you know, like he hasn't had a whole lot. It's very different from like the Wolverine
Mm.
versus Predator
Yes.
or Predator versus Wolverine from
Yeah.
before. But
Yes.
in this book, it really feels like it's like Wakanda versus the
Wakanda.
Predator,
Yeah.
you know?
I think that's
Yeah,
right.
like
Absolutely.
everyone and like the jungle itself, the animals, at least this big crocodile.
Mm.
Um and
Yeah.
it's really fun to see. It's like
Oh, it is. Yeah.
they're not at quite an advantage against the Wakandans as they usually are against people that they
Mm.
like ambush. So that's the one thing I can really get from this that I think is that's what's making it interesting to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you also point out about how the Wakandans are kind of on par. Like, this is the first time the Predators have to deal with technology that could be on par with theirs. But it is stated, I think, in this book, whoever the narrator is, they do still call out that the Predators' technology might be far better than the
Oh
Wakandans. But
yeah, especially with
yeah,
like their IT
yeah,
capabilities.
yeah,
Yeah. Like Shuri
yeah,
can't break in there, so that means like
yeah,
that I was like, "Oh man, if she can't get through that, then it
yeah.
must be crazy." But yeah, I think not just I mean, technologically speaking, I'm sure the Predator tech they have it's far more advanced. They have more
Mm.
capabilities. But I feel like with the Wakandans, like they know what cloaking is, you know?
Yes,
Like
yeah,
they're so like when Okoye instructed the others to like flip to the blunt ends of their
yeah,
spears and like fire up little electronic pulses up into
yeah.
the canopy, like they kind of like shocked the predator or like got him to be visible. And I just thought like that's something that I you don't see a lot in these kind of stories where like the
Yeah.
prey, so to speak, is like really quick to be like, oh, I know what to do here.
Yeah, yeah,
It made it really fun. It was like, oh man, if the Yautja thought this was going to be a cakewalk, I
yeah.
mean, as we know, they're probably having the times of their lives
Oh, yeah, the
for the
predators love it.
challenge, the,
Yeah,
the the thrill of
exactly.
the hunt. But that kind of makes me think of what I thought was so interesting about the ending,
Mm.
because I'm so used to these stories where the predator is all about the thrill of the hunt. I think
Yeah,
this might
good
be
point.
one of the first times I've seen a story where a predator is like thinking of something beyond that, where it's not
Yes.
just the thrill of the hunt, but it's like honor, revenge, and then
Mm.
like more. Like he's thinking of like not just weapons to fight in hunting, but like starships, a throne, expansion.
Yeah.
It's a scary idea. I always thought that we were pretty lucky, that they're really just interested in like hunting and like
Just hunting, yeah.
not more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I never got the
No,
vibe that they were really all about like conquest or anything.
mm.
Um, it's a scary
But this
idea.
is yeah, I mean, this is the point of difference, I think, and I think it's really well done by Benjamin Percy, but at the outset in issue 1, we know that this predator is slightly different from normal
Mhm.
predators, is had to use his brain more than just brute strength because he's, like, smaller in stature and has had the one leg, so not, like, physically the most dominant, which you'd imagine in their culture is, that's celebrated.
Right.
So he's relied on his wits and smarts to get through. And yeah, and so this is like, I mean, it's still a trophy, right? But this is like turned a little bit on its head. It's not a skull or a spine. It's actually a trophy to claim this material. But in having said that, as you said, it lends itself to conquest. Like this is stuff that will
Yeah.
augment. So this is a really nice idea. It reminds me of that was it Peter Dinklage in Game of Thrones, Tyrone Lannister, um,
Tyrion was that his
Tyrion
name?
Lannister, yeah, Tyrion, yeah. About how he was really, smart. Like he was very street smart and just smart in general. That was his edge. This is very much the
Right.
same, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So,
I think there's something to be said for that. Like,
mm,
in a species or a culture of like giants, like massive hulking figures, um, I'm sure this particular Yautja is still very formidable.
yeah,
So like if he's the smallest one, what is he like? Just 6 feet,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. Just 500 pounds,
right,
Just
yeah, nothing too impressive.
yeah.
Um, but he's still at a disadvantage in his like world. Um,
Yes.
and so yeah, he would have to develop. He'd have to be a lot craftier. You know.
Mm,
So
yeah.
it's fun.
And
I think.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Oh no, I was about to say, and I think just psychologically, that's ingrained in him, right? Because regardless of if he's the biggest person in Wakanda, and kind of physically dominates them, I think psychologically, having grown up as as an inferior, physically inferior one in his world, that informs how I guess he thinks and he acts as well. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
absolutely, for
mm,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like
So,
Leo. Oh, go ahead.
so no, no, sorry, please go ahead. Sorry.
Oh well, I always wonder sometimes. Like, I I feel like we can't help as the readers or viewers of these stories. We can't help but kind of look at things with a human sort of lens,
Mm,
like from our perspective. And I think about how there are people in reality in our world that are born with disadvantages. And I
hmm
think it's a real mark of a society or a culture if there's still chances for people born with disadvantages to have like
Yep.
opportunities,
hmm Yeah.
accommodations and all those things. I think that's, something good to strive for. Um,
Yes.
but with the Yautja, they're so mysterious. Like we
Mm,
really don't know, and it's tough to imagine a culture that would be much more hostile Like it's not just like, oh, you're not as tall as other people, don't worry. But it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
your whole worth is
Mm.
like all tied up in your physical capabilities and your prowess and your
Yeah.
ability to I guess attain not just the trophies but like all the honor and glory that comes with them. We can assume
Mm.
that's what their goal is, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it's just to have it like your whole culture tied up in that, like all of like everything that you work towards.
Yeah.
That's just wild to think of. So yeah, this guy must be like he must have really had to go through it, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you're right. It is hard to kind of understand that because, because we as a human race have come to, a point where we are aware and we are, um, we are trying to inclusive more of everyone. I guess the
Right.
predator culture, I guess you'd have to, if anything, um, as an analogy, you'd have to take them as probably an extreme of human
Oh yeah.
part of human society, where
Absolutely.
they're just not. But it's still really hard to kind of like. I'm trying to even think of like what's a comparison of, I don't know, something really base and simple that if I go to you, Sparky, and just go, oh, um, that's strange that you are doing whatever it is that you're doing. I can't think of anything that that is just so automatic. It's like,
Yeah, well, you
um,
asked me earlier if I can do chin-ups, right?
yeah,
I can't, but like, I'm working at it, and if I never do a chin-up in my entire life, that's okay. I'll be fine,
yeah, yeah,
But like
but
imagining
yeah,
like your ability to do a chin-up is if you can it's like akin to, oh, you can't get your driver's license unless you can do a chin-up. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like that
yeah,
sounds absurd, but
yeah.
like just
It's
that kind of
really weird.
idea that like
I'm
something
not going to
that's
serve
really
you. I'm not going to serve you at the restaurant because you can't do a chin
right.
up.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that guy can't do chin-ups. No rights. Like it's crazy to
Yeah,
think of.
yeah. So
Um,
that, yeah, you're right. So I mean, so the predators are. They have this. It's really cool. And listeners, we are diving deep because I don't know. I mean, culturally speaking, for Yautja, it's such an interesting aspect, And what I think Benjamin Percy does here is that, exactly as we said towards the end, he's opened up this door where you've got this predator who is kind of forced to go against that culture, but is opening these avenues for grander schemes, which is just it's just amazing to think. So yeah, interesting to see what happens in issue 3. Um, Sparky, there's a whole kind of uh practicalities of, I guess. Look, he's found the mine. Like what now? Like he's got
right,
to still mine
yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure they
Um,
have some super advanced technology that allows them to just like take the raw material and
yeah,
form it
zap it
into
up.
yeah, they got their spaceships, there's stuff on
Oh,
there, the Instant
just get
Pot of Predator.
the blue liquid and just
Oh
pour it
yeah,
on it.
that mysterious blue liquid that I think it starts as crystals or
Yeah,
something, and
okay.
they crush it
Right.
up maybe? Or no,
Yes.
I'm thinking
No, that was
I'm sorry,
Predator
I'm
2,
thinking
isn't
of
it?
the drywall and
Yeah,
tile
yeah.
and random I always wondered in Predator 2,
Mm,
like what was in those
yeah,
materials that
yeah,
activated
I know.
the little
I wanna
concoction he made, that like
I wanna
salve.
try it. Looked pretty cool with a little dish, like, and then
Yeah,
just
no, it
light
was
up.
very like, oh, he's what's he cooking up in here? Um,
It's good for camping.
yeah, but yeah, I'm sure our protagonist slash antagonist predator here
Yeah.
has got all sorts of plans for this
Mm, and
vibranium.
yes. Do you think so, Sparky, what do you reckon? Let's project ahead. How do you see, not the ending necessarily, but how do you see what pans out in the next issue? Do you reckon he'll obtain a sizable amount to craft more metal or armor to make him like formidable against Black Panther, or what do you?
That would be that would be quite the challenge.
Mm,
For the Black Panther to face
yes,
an enemy
yeah,
that has not only like kind of taken over his kingdom, but like vibranium can be argued that that's like Wakanda's greatest strength, like
yeah. Oh,
out like
absolutely.
on the
Yeah.
surface at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so for the Yautja to take their vibranium and then like immediately start implementing it, if they are able, like if he can quickly like arm himself with vibranium defenses or offensive weapons of some kind, that would be quite the pickle. Yeah, that would. I don't know. I don't know what T'Challa would do
Certainly
then.
the pickle. Yeah.
I feel like that
Imagine-
might be a way for them to set up the classic like dichotomy of like the advanced alien threat and like
Yes.
Arnold's
Oh yeah.
in the jungle like
Yeah.
sharpening
Yeah.
sticks and stuff, you know, like
Oh
that,
yeah, just
like
bathing in mud. Yeah.
right, yeah. T'Challa, he probably wouldn't have to bathe in mud. I mean, he's still got his
It-
Black Panther suit. He's got
True.
his image to think of.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
like-
What would the other Avengers think, eh?
Oh, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a king, for crying out loud. I can't be doing that.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna do whatever it takes, right? Like
Yeah.
this is like quite the threat. I'm
Mm.
excited, and I'm happy to see that these kind of stories. There's still so much that can be done with them. I've always
Yeah.
worried that like the Predator story itself, like the template for it, would get kind of I don't know, tired. Like
Mm.
I've always said like we can't just how many times can we tell the same story?
Yeah.
You know, like we hit the
Yeah.
same beats over and over. But it's nice to see that like we kind of can
Yeah.
as long as we like sprinkle in some extra little things that make it unique. It's still very entertaining.
Yeah.
It's still like on a bare bones sort of like outline. It's a great story, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I think I can't recall it exactly now, but I think even with Benjamin Percy's Predator versus Wolverine, there were little ideas there that was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like that's pretty cool that
Yeah.
he's kind of thought outside the box, and he's certainly doing it here. So it's I find it very exciting. That's why I really do like the novels as well, Sparky, because they really just like they go for it. Those authors, they just go for the
Oh,
stories
yeah,
and just try
absolutely.
things, and
Mhm.
so I find that very rich with just these fresh ideas. I think that's really good, and it's good to see that in the comics as well. They're doing it now because I mean, I'm not disparaging any of the past Predator comics as well, but for a while there was like a similar theme, like that they were going off the back of the movie's success, and I guess it was also trying to hit that flavor that people loved of the movie. So they kind of stuck with that kind of
Right.
that predator being the hunter, and this person like Enoch, going or John Schaefer being the one person to go up against him. But
Mhm.
it's really good to see that it's diversifying now, and we're just getting so many cool comics, and the fact that mixing with Marvel characters. I mean, sign me up.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
like this is what any like kid in their room with action figures would be doing with their imagination. You know, like we get to see it on the page this time, which is really
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
No, really, really good. As for what I think similar to you, Sparky, but I see maybe, him obtaining some vibranium, maybe incorporating it, like you're having some sort of predator slash vibranium Wakandan technology, rather than just kind of using it for its energy purposes and as absorption. Maybe, I don't know, maybe something beyond that. And then we get that kind of thing where the predator is now technologically far superior to Black
Yeah.
Panther, and having to do that. And maybe Black Panther's, we saw it early on. Hey, here we go. We saw it early on. The first beat, Shuri shuts down Black Panther's suit. I reckon the Predator is going to do the same thing, and he's going to be having to resort to his just smarts with nature to get.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Yeah,
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it's a great story.
It is a
I
great
can
story.
see it.
Yo, I mean, after all we said, but
I know,
still,
right? But see,
but
that's the thing.
it's
Like,
different.
I honestly, I just
Yeah.
love the Predator. You know,
Yeah.
like if the Predator's
Yeah.
in it, how
Yeah,
bad can it be, right?
Exactly. So, listeners, obviously take what we said, go round and round in circles, and come back. And we've hit the points there. Sparky, out of 5, I think we do 5 skulls, don't we? Out of 5 skulls, what would you give this Predator versus Black Panther issue 2?
I want to give it. Can we do half skulls, like the lower jaw, maybe?
Yeah, just a
Um,
little.
I wanna give it. See, that's the thing. I'm not entirely sure. I'm torn,
Yes.
ripped apart in half brutally between 3.5 and 4 skulls
Okay.
because I feel like it's solid. There are some things that we've talked about before, like with the art and other stuff, that
Yep.
keep it from being like a solid 5 out of 5, 100%.
Mhm.
Would hunt again, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's decent. It's good. Um, the story is really solid. The art does its job.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go with 3.5. I think that's good for me.
3.5? Okay, so 3.5 out of 5 skulls there from Sparky Small Knife. I would, yeah, um, for me, like very similar Sparky in the fact that, yeah, I would give it a 3.5. Yeah, I think most, yeah, I don't want to say anything, but like most of the story and the concepts are very strong. I think, which is really good. Which would probably give it the most points. I think, and yeah, 3.5. I think is a good range. It's above average. It um really does ask questions or offer. More new elements to your Ucha lore, and that's the main thing for me, and I think that's great. And the fact that we get this thing, like we actually get this story where vibranium, like such a Marvel thing, is now like in the grasp of the Ucha, and it's like, what if the Predators had
Right.
vibranium? This is cool. We're getting it. So this is such a cool idea, and I have been enjoying it. So looking forward to the next one. But yeah, 3.5. I think it would be a decent hit for that. So there you go, listeners. 3.5 from both Small Knife and P Ray. Go check it out if you haven't already. Let us know what you think about the issue. Have you read both? Are you following it, or have you jumped in on the second issue? I mean, I think it's okay, maybe Sparky, to jump in the second issue. I mean, you'll miss a little bit, but it's
Yeah,
certainly
yeah.
a
It's like when
continuation.
you're surfing on TV back when we
Yeah,
used to do that, channel surfing. And you see Predator that's on TV and you
yep,
like miss the first
yeah.
25 minutes or so. You know the story. So you sit
You
there,
know
you're like,
what's
okay,
going
I guess I'm
on.
watching Predator. This is cool. Yeah,
Exactly.
it'll be fine. Just jump
It'll
on
be
in.
fine. Yeah. Yeah. So if yeah, exactly. So if you're jumping in now, let us know what you think. Yeah, always happy to interact, always happy to have a chat about Predator. But Sparky, that pretty much wraps us for this episode. I was about to say issue.
Yeah.
Next episode, I think we'll be going back to one of the more classic Dark Horse stories. Actually, when I say that, we're actually not far off from Predator and Black Panther issue 3, I think, because we're a little bit behind.
Mhm.
So just keep an eye out. We might do another Black Panther, a Predator Black Panther, or we'll do a classic tale next on the omnibus list from Volume 1. But yes, Sparky, it's been awesome as always, chatting
Always
with
a
you.
pleasure. Thank you so
Always
much.
exactly. The assignment, and I guess we'll have to watch and read more Predator. Just
Yeah, I gotta
as
keep up
always.
on the news and buy more Predator things. That's always what I think of when we
I
do
think,
these.
yeah. Well, I mean, you said it there. You got me thinking. I think I'm going to have to keep my finger on the pulse for the news a bit more. I want to see what is out there apart from AI stuff. Um, just
Mhm.
real stuff on Badlands coming up, and yeah, where we're going with that. So, and reading more of the omnibus. We've got 2 omnibuses now, so listeners, there's no excuse.
That's right.
But as always, thank you once again, listeners, for tuning in. Thank you for those tuning in during the live stream. And as always, Sparky, we say
Shit
shit happens.
happens.
Catch you later.